So this is going to be my primary assessment video. So first, I'm going to be doing it on an unconscious patient. We're going to be doing it on a conscious patient. But first, when I walk up to the scene, I'm going to want to survey the scene and make sure it's a safe scene to approach. After that, I'm going to want to get my general impressions of the patient, noting their gender, age, if they're ill, any physical damages to their body or injuries that I can see. I'm going to walk up to the patient. Since they look unconscious, I'm going to go up to them and see and get their mental status. First thing I'm going to do is tap on their shoulders and see if I can get any kind of alertness from them. Hello? Hello? And since she's not responding, I'm going to move on to my ABCs, my airway, breathing, and circulation. So the first thing I want to do is come over here and tilt her head back to be able to get her airway free, and I'm going to check for her pulse and her breathing at the same time. So I'm going to put my head to her chest to check for breathing, and I'm also going to be checking her artery up here for any kind of pulse for 5 to 10 seconds, but no longer than 10 seconds. And then after doing that, I would give care based on what I would find. If she was not breathing and still unresponsive, I would move on to CPR. If she was still alert, I would take the next steps and move on to a second survey, or my secondary survey. Now, you can get up, Mom. Now, what we're going to do is, for the primary survey, now we're going to do if the patient is conscious. So go ahead and sit over here. So I'm going to walk up to her and ask her, how are you doing?
Good.
Good. Why did you call us today?
I hurt my arm.
You hurt your arm? Okay. So the first thing I want to do for my primary survey on a conscious patient, and I want to look and check for breathing. I don't want to tell the patient this because this could check and affect how they breathe. So what I would be doing is I would be looking at their abdominal and chest to look for any movement of the chest, and I also want to count their breathing. So what I would do is I would watch the patient's chest for 30 seconds and count the number of breaths that they take. But I wouldn't tell the patient that I'm doing this, again, because I don't want their breathing to change. So, but for this video, I'm just going to go ahead and count it so I can get practice for it. So. So I got 12 breaths for 30 seconds, and I would multiply that for 2, and that would give me 24 breaths per minute. And then after doing that, I would want to check her pulse. So I would ask her, may I check your pulse? And I would check her pulse. I could either count to 15 seconds or 30 seconds, and if I did it by 30 seconds, I would multiply it by 2. If I counted to 15 seconds, I would multiply it by 4. I got 18 for 15 seconds. I would multiply that by 4, getting me about 75 beats per minute. And then the last thing I will want to do for my primary survey is I want to check her skin and check for things like the look and feel. And since I was just taking her pulse, I already know how it felt. Her skin felt a little bit hot. Her skin also looks a little bit pale. And I also did notice that her skin was a little bit moist, maybe because she's nervous because of the injury she just sustained. And then after that, I would record all my findings, and then that would be the end of my primary survey, and I would move on to my secondary survey.